I was reading this, and I want to tell you a little bit about the chapters afterward. But God, right here, Samuel has got the Israelites, and he's told them, you've been wrong, but you need to come back to God. And he gave them direct instructions on what they had to do to come back to God. I mean, it's just in a few words, simple and easy. And they said, okay, we will. And they did. They come back to God, and it said that it was for 20 years that the Ark of the Covenant was with them. And during that time, Samuel was with them, and they were holy unto God. Amen. Praise God. They come and they confess their sins. In chapter 3, in chapter 7, verse 3, it said, And Samuel spake unto the house of Israel, saying, If you do return unto the Lord, if you do return, some ain't going to return, but if you do return, this is what he asked them to do. I like to bring this up, is what God showed me, is that he did deliver them, but this is what they had to do first. He said, if you do return to the Lord with all your hearts, not with a piece of it, not with a little bit of it, not with sometimes it's, you love the Lord and sometimes you just put him on the back burner. He said, come to him with all your hearts. Then put away all strange gods. Put away all strange gods. What would be a strange God to us today? It could be a television. It could be a cell phone. Sitting in church and texting. Honey, let me tell you, you put that before God. Praise God. And I'm not putting anybody down in here, but I'm telling you, when you come in the house of God, he expects to be reverenced. And if he sees you looking down at a screen, you ain't giving him reverence. You're putting something before him, and he does not like that. He says, put away all your strange gods. If you have a ball team, like I said earlier, some folks will travel, and I've heard this on David Thompson. God, I love him. Thanks to crazy. He said, some people will put their ball teams. They will actually dress up. They will take their shirts off. Let me tell you how crazy how far they will go. They will take their shirts off. They will paint letters on their bellies. They will cut their hair. They'll spike it up, and they will go to a place like 50, 100 miles away from where they live at to see a ball team play one night. And they will stand up in the stands and praise and scream out and holler. And for what? For what? That's a God to them. That's a strange God to them. But I don't see people. I'm not saying that God's asking you to stand up or paint your belly or anything. I'm not saying that. But if they will go that far to do that for him, he's just asking you to get down and pray. He's saying, get down and worship me because I'm worthy. I'm the one who created that team that you're rooting for, that you've gone so insane over. But why not go insane over me? That I have done all these things. If it wasn't for God delivering so many times, we wouldn't even be here today. Praise God. And so this time he told them, so get away all the strange gods. And he said Ashtaroth. I didn't get a chance to look that up. Forgive me. From among you, and prepare your hearts. So he told them told them at the beginning, he said, with all your hearts, return unto God with all your hearts. But then he told them to prepare your hearts. Now what did he mean? Now if they didn't give all their hearts, what did he mean by prepare the hearts? Okay, so God's come unto them, okay, and they give their whole heart, but now they have to prepare it. You got to walk with God, you see. You can say, I give you my whole self. That was tonight. What are you going to do tomorrow night? Are you going to keep, you're going to keep giving it over and over and over? Are you going to, is it going to be an everyday thing? Or are you just going to give it to him today and not give it to him tomorrow? He wants the whole thing, but he also wants you to prepare it. And that means, if I'm courting somebody, that's the word they used back in the day. If I'm courting somebody and I say, I love you so much, and on our wedding day, I'm giving my whole self to you. But then like 3 days down the line, we're done bickering and fighting, and I'm about done with this person. I think I want to get a divorce. I don't want to be with them no more. What happened? We didn't have time. Maybe we didn't go out enough. Maybe we didn't get to know each other enough. You have to prepare yourself. You got to spend time with him. As bad as a lot of people hate to get their knees dirty, God said, spend time with me. People don't want to do it. They want to run and paint their belly. So, I have to say, for women, it might just be music. They might want to put them headphones on, and I'll pray later on. Let me watch a little bit of celebrity, whatever, that's on TV. Because reality TV is much better than watching my God and seeing what my God has to say to me today. So God's saying, prepare your heart, give me the whole thing, and prepare it. Let's work this out. Let's make it a relationship that's going to be long-lasting. And the Lord, let me go back. Said, and prepare your hearts unto the Lord, and serve him only. So you cannot be preparing your heart with the Lord, like I said, and saying, well, okay, God, I want to make it work, and I give you my whole heart. I do love you. I did go to church this morning, Maybe tonight I don't need to, I can always pray at home. I'm guilty of saying that. I mean, as bad as I hate to say it, I'm guilty of saying that. Maybe you think you can just do it on your own. Honey, you cannot do it on your own. You have to do it the way God says to do it. And Him only doesn't mean, well, you say you can, and you, honestly, a lot of people believe they can. They believe, you know what, I can come and sit in church, but, if people start pulling me to the altar, they need to know that, I'm saved. I don't need nobody can pray for me. I've been praying at home. I got it all together, and I just don't need nobody. Me and God's good. But then if you went home with Him, what would you find? What would you find? Are they praying? What are they doing? Are you watching a bunch of preaching tapes? Honey, that ain't going to save you. The Bible says, put your trust in no man. And I know if He's got the Lord, that's good. But if He ain't physically there, and if you need prayer, you need to get on your knees. He's not going to fix your problem. We're not praying enough, you see. We're not giving it all to God. And so on down it says, serve Him only. That means don't be serving the preachers on the TV. And I'm not pinning nobody. I watch them too. But if you're watching them more than you're praying to God and asking of His wisdom and asking Him to give you knowledge, then you're putting them above Him. And I don't care if they're giving you all the word in the book. God's not giving it to you. So you need to make sure and check them, praise God. I'm not saying any of them's wrong, but I'm telling you, but I know this because when I was studying this word, I was listening to a preacher. Like God said, no, what I want to feed them. Not what I gave Him to feed His flock. See, it's different. You people's different from what this man on TV. He's talking to a whole different crew. He's talking to a crew that's probably coming from a wealthy part of town that probably need to be preached on a little more about maybe money, and how they probably don't even tell them that. They probably don't want to hear that. They give them, itching ears, praise God. I ain't saying they all do, but a lot of them do. But we come from a different part of town. We need to know that God's going to be here for us, but God needs to show us how to seek Him so He'll show up, praise God. He's not just going to show up because we said, well, God can do it. God will do it if you get on your face before Him. He's not just going to do it. You can't just come in the door saying, oh, I got a problem and I can go in and only if you come to your whole heart and you give your whole life. It says your whole heart and you've made a commitment to prepare yourself before Him, then He will come and follow you. He will heal you, and He does. And if you get online, there's many parts of the world, He's healing people all the time. We ain't seeing it. Why ain't we seeing it? Because we're not down enough. God just about has to allow us to fall flat on our face, I said once before we will believe that He can do anything for us. Praise God. I don't want to get that far down. I already know He can, and I want to trust Him to do it. But I have to get myself in a position for Him to do it. I have to get on my face and cry out to Him. I have family that's lost, and I want to see them saved. And I can't just stand by and say, well, God will do it, because God said if I pray, He'll come and fix that. So I prayed yesterday and said, Lord, you see them, look at them. I can't believe that. Lord, help them. Well, that's not good enough. He said, I don't find it very compassionate to myself. I see my sister, I'm like talking about my family. If you see a sister or brother in the church or outside the walls of the church, they may not look like what you think. Let me tell you, on in chapter 8 of this, they turned away again, lo and behold. So they did. Samuel had 2 sons and they weren't governing right. Much like we have today. We have a lot of ungovernment. We don't have it straight. But what they did, they said, well, give us a king. We need a king that's going to come over us because they're not doing it right and they're not like you and we just want to be like the rest of the nations. We want to be like the rest of them. Give us a king. And Samuel said, I just don't know about this. He sought the elders and said, Lord, I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea. And God said, I'm putting this in my own words. God said, give them their king. Make sure you tell them what kind of king they're getting too, because they need to know. If you choose the world, you're going downhill. That's straight up how it's going to be. There's no sugarcoating it. Either you choose God or you choose evil. There's either good or evil. And there's no way, if you ain't going to do it right, you're